I don't know if you know this. Thor News is for winners, and that's why you're here. So stick around. Hit the button, baby.
Party dance time.
Stay cool. This is a Thor News presentation. Thor News presents September 2015. It almost feels like an evil sci-fi villain has his hand on the dial, controlling the wacky weather and disasters that are happening across Earth. Hey, remember when that French dude went in front of the UN and said, "We got 500 days to prevent climate change chaos"? And then he came over here to America and stood next to John Kerry, and they both were like, "We have 500 days to prevent total climate change chaos." Now where did all this crap start, man? Oh yeah, some UN government French dude, I think, kicked it off March 14th, 2014.
We are, all of you know it, on the edge of a climatic abyss. In fact, we have 500 days to avoid a climate chaos.
You obey.
We have 500 days to avoid a climate chaos.
You have until the sands run out.
Climate chaos. Well, ain't that a fine how do you do? And what does that mean, man? Why did we only have 500 days? Was that an arbitrary number or an approximation? Or did you have it pinpointed? So they did the one thing that you are not supposed to do if you are a doomer. They dated their shit. They dated their doom prophecy. So that would lead us to September 24th, 25th, around the time that the Pope is going to address the UN on climate change. And so I'm thinking it was a good marketing tool to build up to that event, though it's pretty sneaky, slimy, lame, and it breaks down the credibility of the people who talk about it. But just in case that fool wasn't lying, coincidentally enough, we have a lot of activity in the Pacific and Atlantic Ocean. I mean, the Pacific has been filled with one hurricane after another, with no signs of stopping. So it was like the dude said, we have 500 days to prevent climate change chaos. And then they declared the 2015 El Nino a Godzilla El Nino. And then scientists came out with the Gray Swan, which is horrible disasters that can kind of be foreseen and prevented. It is my personal opinion that the sun and many factors affect the weather and the climate on Earth, and that we are absolutely abusing this planet in many ways, especially the creatures. How many animal die-offs have we seen in mass over the last 2-3 years? They said 60,000 antelope die in Australia for no explainable reasons. And that to me is the saddest thing possible. I don't care if you are a Christian, an atheist, a Buddhist, a Muslim. It is our responsibility to take care of this planet. So my idea would be, we need to plant 1 billion trees and save the bees. Their idea is a carbon tax, where they would tax our carbon usage, which is like the silliest thing ever. But it brings me to my point. Remember 2008, when the economy collapsed and the credit freeze, and they were like, hey, the economy is going to explode unless you give us $5.5 trillion in quantitative easing and 0% interest rates forever. So hey, guess what? They gave them that, and the economy got back up to speed. Asterisk. Which was a horrible thing, right? I mean, what are the odds that 8 banks would fail in the same day? Now, in an infinite growth economic system, you have to keep reinflating your bubbles. And so they're going to need to reinflate this bubble. So I'm wondering, are they blackmailing us? Are they basically saying, if you don't pass the carbon tax within 500 days, we are going to start sinking cities and putting a lot of people underwater and causing a lot of climate chaos? This would mean that they could control the weather. And as anyone who's followed this subject for a while knows, they have been weather tampering on record since Vietnam. And so that is why I will be watching these hurricanes and the weather very closely up until the 25th of September and beyond. You know how these people work? They might be blackmailing us. And at this point, it's like, man, they're just printing money now every day, all day. Anyways, go ahead, yeah. Take your 5.5 trillion and let my people go. Do you really have to be such divide and conquer jerks at the same time? I mean, if you're going to extract 5.5 trillion from us for quote unquote carbon tax to save the planet, can't you at least be cool about it, man? You know, you don't have to be a standard stock villain. September 2015. It's almost like an evil force, an evil sci-fi villain has his hand on the dial, controlling the wacky weather and disasters that are happening across Earth. Oh, another thing. How come nobody cares about Fukushima? Like, you ain't never heard an American scientist, a politician, or even famous celebrity say, hey dude, Fukushima is foobar and we need to fix it because it is pumping radioactive water into the ocean. That seems like a major problem. So I'm just saying, man, did they unleash Godzilla? Do they have a bunch of white swan? Do they have a bunch of gray swans at their fingertips? I don't know if you know this, but carbon credits are already being traded in exchange-traded funds on Wall Street. So it will be the big business one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? But I will say I'm not 100% convinced that they are controlling the weather or all of the weather because the sun has been flipping out. The more science tells you that the sun's activity is very low, the more that means it's pretty much flipping out. And you can check that out, and I detail that on my channel. So, all right, God bless everybody. Here we are looking for solutions. Yay, the Pope. You know what I'm saying? We'll keep an eye on these hurricanes, and I'll keep you updated. God bless everybody. Have a great day.
We have 500 days to avoid a climate chaos.